push them, but they might come up there 30, 40 yards, enough to push towards you so you got a shot. But
Yeah,
if you guys think you can crest that and don't shoot them, then go ahead.
You're probably right. I think these ones are better positioned to stalk either way. And then there's these ones over across the road right here, like right here, that we can put a stalk on afterwards if we want to do that. And I think, like in the hardwoods, if you just get trees in between you and them, you can walk right at them.
If we had snow camo, it would be great.
Yeah.
But it's quiet enough. You might be able to pull it off. Let's try it.
Yeah. So
you and Dawson, where do you want to get out?
We'll get dressed here, and then you'll drop us off. Like, Dawson and I just got out here on this piece of public. We spotted some does that are in a good position for us to put a stalk on us. So Daw's got the bow. Headed. Come on. Let's go. We're just gonna try to get up over this little rise. They're in these pines. I don't really know what they are. They look like pines to me. And try to get some eyes on them. We got a good wind just off. And they weren't really moving very far, so if we get some eyes on them, we should be able to put a pretty good stalk on them. Especially in these pines. It's a little bit thicker in here. So we'll see what happens. We're just gonna start moving slow through here. You see those deer? Deer across the road. Yeah. Alright, first attempt. Unsuccessful, but it looks like they bumped across the road. Our wind wasn't amazing. We trusted the app. It's supposed to be a southwest, and it felt like east coming in here. So we kind of came up on the wrong side. They might have caught our wind. We never saw them. So we're going to hop back in the truck and do this a little bit throughout the morning. There's the other one. I'm not sure. Hello. We're just looking at these other ones. We got a bad wind though. On their side of the road now. Well, we walked up to the road right there. They're only 120 yards away. Alright, we got a bad wind, so I don't know what we're gonna do. If he wants to drive by, and we could hop on the tailgate and drop us off above him, might be an option. Wait. What? He said you're just gonna have to make your move and we're not worried about the wind. Yeah, you got the Setlock hat on. They might walk through. There's a little berm right there. They might walk. Actually, she just did. There's 3 of them I saw. There's a berm up there that they just walked behind. We might be able to. She's just being right there. I see her now. Just want to take a couple steps to the left and try and move maybe 40 yards in case they do start going away, and then we can get up there closer and closer. might be able to go straight at him. They caught our wind and they just bounded that way. They're still 100 yards, so we're gonna try to just sneak out of here and make a different play on them. But they didn't go far, but they were working our way and then they caught our wind.
close.
If you stood there, let me range her, get a perfect range. Shoot. It's the 29th of December up in the UP of Michigan, and we're here with Dan and Fault and Eric. They're out hunting as well, and then Dawson and Wyatt are around the corner from them. We just dropped them off and we just parked. We're walking into a spot that we kind of had hunted the first day. We were a little bit like higher on some public, but the boys came down in here yesterday and they saw some deer, so we saw a good trail while we were driving around scouting today, and so they went over there and they're gonna hang on that, and we're gonna go back over here where they were yesterday, and they saw some deer, a bunch of them coming down over the hill. So it's about just before 2 o'clock right now. We're gonna go get settled in, and as the evening goes on, the deer should start moving here. They've been moving pretty early, so hopefully we have some action. Okay, just got to the base of the tree. We're gonna scoot up here. Busted a couple deer on the way in, but they saw plenty of deer in here, so we're just gonna stick to it, the game plan, and hope some more trickle down off of this ridge. We got a few hours till sunset, so we'll just see what happens.
So Kevin and I just got set up. We're in the same spot that Dawson and Wyatt came into last night and had 15 deer come through. And we just moved up and down the lake about 80 yards where the deer actually came through. They were about 80 yards from last night. We did a little bit of stalking today, a little bit of spot and stalk through the snow. We got to 45 yards, 40 yards on one doe, and we got to 50 on another. And obviously going to try and make a perfect shot, so we didn't end up shooting, didn't get the right angles. And so we're going to do that again tomorrow. We were real successful at that today. We scouted out another piece that Dawson and Wyatt are at tonight. So we hope they shoot a big one. And Dan and Eric are in another spot. And we don't know exactly where they are, but there's no shortage of deer here. We're looking for pretty much any buck tonight and any big doe, so we'll see what happens. Kevin's at the trigger tonight, so we got a good shooter on hand, so he's probably the best marksman in the group. So we'll see if we can make a good, quick, ethical kill on one of these deer coming down through here. We bumped 5 deer on the way in, which isn't ideal, but there's nothing you can do if they're bedded where you're going. So no matter how early you get there, whatever, they're already here. You're not going to beat them here. So here we are. It's a beautiful night up here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I guess it's close to 40 degrees right now, 38, 37, 40. So we're just going to sit back and hope that some of these deer start coming down over this hill. And the plan is he's going to shoot 1 or 2, and then we're going to pass the bow and the camera and see if we can double. So wish us luck. We need it.
It's good if it stays like that.
Yeah, it's better if it stays like that. It doesn't give us what it gave us last night, that upward drift.
Yeah. Let's see here. That should do it. See them all.
See them yet? Yeah, I see them. I'm gonna go by where they were last night, but
the tough thing about being in here is like it's pretty wide open hardwoods. We see their tracks, so we know like they're bedded in here and they want to be in here and they're bedded in here and stuff. And there's good runs through here, but just like which one do you want to pick? Because yesterday they came through down here, today they come through over there, so that's just game you play. So they're bedded over there, probably 80 yards from us. But if we don't see anything move down the hill above us here, they're not moving any closer to us. We're gonna get down here in the next 5-10 minutes, pack everything up, and go pick up the boys from their location. We have been driving by this piece for both days that we've been here, and there's a pile of tracks going down and across the road over to the private where this guy looks like he has a mineral lick or something over there. But the major trails are running right across, right through the public, and right down into here somewhere. So I think we're only about 100 yards off the road, but I think we're gonna set up somewhere in here. I think this tree actually right here, it's pretty wide open, but hopefully these deer, this is actually pretty thick right here. Hopefully these deer are bedded. Looks like they're just browsing in this stuff. Yeah, they've been browsing around in here, tearing this stuff up, but there's some major trails right over here and right up here on this hill, headed towards that guy's house. So hopefully we can catch him coming through here. It's only 1:30 right now, so we're out here a lot earlier than we have been, so a lot warmer too. I think we're gonna get up in this tree pretty high. Hopefully put an arrow through one of them here in just a little bit. Anything goes tonight except for a fawn. Maybe a spike. Dawson's currently getting our stuff set up in the tree, but I've just been looking around. A lot of these limbs have been nipped off by the looks. The deer are definitely browsing through. This tree is pretty barren, but we're gonna use all of our sticks and aiders to get as high as we can. Late season is usually when we get high in the tree. If it's not late season, when all the leaves are off and everything, we'll usually only hunt 15-20 feet, but late season like this, we'll get as high as we can push our sticks and stuff out, just to try and get up and out of the deer's eyesight as much as possible. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. That's the guy's house right up there. All those trails come right down through here. You can see him down there in that bottom right there, going right down through that brush. A couple trails there, and then there's a major trail that comes right out of that guy's backyard over there. Goes right through here, right down in there. That's where that big track was, right down on that trail right there. Both within range. Well, that's gonna do it for Dawson and I here for the third day. Nothing tonight besides that one doe we had come in behind us, and she did use the trails that we thought they would, but she took the trails that way rather than coming down our ways. We're probably gonna go meet up with Dan and Eric, and hopefully somebody shot something. But we'll meet up with those guys, figure something out for tomorrow. It'll be our last day, so we'll try and get something together. Even if we gotta get aggressive with stalking them in the morning or something like that.
Hey, how you doing? Where are all the deer hanging right now? It's kind of quiet. Hey, you.
Sir, can you help us out here?
It looks a little cold. There's some snow stuck to him.
He does look cold.
I don't know if he's okay. Let's just get out of here.
Yeah, it's weird.
How you doing? Man, they sure are friendly, aren't they?
They are. There's actually one behind the house too. That's a little bit smaller, but
So we're out scouting where we see a bunch of deer tracks coming back in here. And we got to go along this private over here. And the first thing I spot is there's a hay bale up on the hillside in the corner of the private. And that's how most of these people are hunting, is with bait. And even when they're not baiting, they seem to be feeding in yards. And you get a lot of these deer drawn to these private properties because of that. But it just seems to be a culture up here. Everybody's hunting over bait.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't too many people hunting the natural way and going out and doing what we're doing.
Yeah. I don't think we would see deer feeding on hay bales at home.
Yeah. You know, even when I said I was coming up here, I got a whole bunch of messages. Are you hunting over bait?
Yeah,
Like, it's just assumed if we're coming up here, we're hunting over bait.
yeah, it's very common up here.
Like, these people think that's the only way you can hunt.
Yep. It's kind of automatic that you hunt with bait up here.
So there's the hay bale. Now we get a little further, you can see his blind up there. A little bit of a distance from the hay bale. I bet you was sitting in there with muzzleloader during the muzzleloader season, which was not too long ago. See his
Yeah.
blind?
Yeah, not 35 yards away from the hay bale.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell if it's active. Take a look at some of these tracks and see how fresh they are.
These tracks are pretty fresh. I don't think that guy's hunting it right now, but he's got a hay bale out there now, so maybe he is.
And you can see how just pounded that is around that hay bale
Well, right now
with deer
it's
tracks.
private land they can rifle hunt on, right?
Yep,
So he could be hunting out of that.
he could be hunting.
Yeah. You know, we're looking at this is a pretty good spot to hunt. I mean, all the deer trails are coming into this guy's bait and stuff. But it just doesn't seem right. I mean,
Something doesn't sit right about
it's
sitting right
next to
off of a
somebody else's
bait pile,
and-
and that's just not our style of hunting.
right, and then there's a spot over the hill where there's a whole bunch of deer coming in and feeding out of somebody's Christmas display in their front yard, eating their manger and stuff. And every time we go by, there's 3 or 4 deer there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what we came up here for.
Right.
We came up here to see how the deer react naturally and stuff. And really, the bait is throwing us off. We get into good areas, and it's like, okay, we can't really hunt here. And
It's
feel
just
good
that
about ourselves.
when you get into pockets of deer, it's around all these little private parcels.
Yeah. If it was about killing deer, I think right here we could kill a buck.
Mm-hmm.
I think right over the hill we could kill another one.
Mm-hmm.
But it ain't really about that. It's about the journey.
Right.
And this isn't my journey.
Mm-hmm.
If it's yours, you're welcome to hunt here. But
Mm-hmm.
no.
No, I think, I mean, these are almost pets.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could see driving through here, the way some of the deer would just
Yeah.
look at you and they wouldn't even scatter, so.
Yeah, let's get out of here and find something a little better.
Okay.
So this is pretty dense cedar, and the deer we're finding are in the cedar. So the denser the better, it seems. This is a pretty dense swamp, has a lake in the middle, and Eric pointed out that there's a little funnel here. And I'd like to check out and see if the deer are going through this funnel back and forth. There are some pretty good trails coming out. Want to check it out?
Yeah, let's go check it out. I just thought it might be an efficient way to scout this as quick as possible, because quite clearly any deer working through these cedars would have to come between the lake and the road.
Yeah, there's a big area of cedar over there and a big area of cedar over here, and right here's a funnel.
So to be efficient, it'll take us 10 minutes to check this out.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
there or not, it should be real quick.
right. Let's go check it out. Boy, those look like,
Pretty good size bed.
yeah, it really does look like a good sized bed, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a big animal. And this bed is literally 50 feet from our truck. So I think this whole cedar swamp is probably bedding. You know, you just gotta, they gotta wander around in here quite a bit though, and the tracks are really picking up already.
Yeah, they are.
More beds. Leave the track in this bed here.
Yeah, that's a good track. We might be onto something here. Look at all of the deer activity. Bed. Another bed.
Dude, I think you're onto something. I don't think this would be too bad to sit in. Trouble is how do you get a shot off? You almost have to be on the ground in here.
Right? Yeah, to be elevated in here. It'd be pretty tough. I don't
I
even know.
could get in a tree like, say, this one. But you got to look at what the wind's doing. Or maybe this one.
And actually,
If you got the wind blowing that way, you could get into a tree like over here and literally have some open shooting. You just have to be patient.
there's so much deer activity in here. It's actually hard to pick up on what a trail is.
So what you do is you get over an opening like this, where all this traffic is, and get to the side that's downwind that has very little activity beyond it.
Yep.
Let your wind blow over the road or something. But I think, look at this.
It's pounded.
Right here is a pretty good opening for shooting. And come over here once. And look at all these tracks.
Yep.
So if a guy could get in here someplace on the downwind side, which way is downwind, do you know? I think it's that way, isn't it?
It feels like it. It does feel like it. It's
So if
very.
we got over into a tree over here and just picked the tree that we got little windows to shoot through these thick pines, I don't think this would be bad.
Yeah. You could almost even cover this with two guys.
Good. It's just a matter of if
One
keep
closer
the
to
wind
the
correct, though.
Right, right.
We could do it, 500 yards down the road or 600 yards down the road, not near
Yeah.
each other.
Right, right.
Because I think we're right into deer bedding too. But I think they might be bedding down there, down here, and they get up and they wander. I think we should mark this spot, and I think we should go up and down and try to find another spot that's nearby. So we got two spots. We
Right.
get you in here, and then go find me a spot.
Yep, yep.
They're eating all this this moss. Come here and get a close look at this. See this moss? That's what they're eating. We got it all busted up here. So this stuff, survivalists eat that. If you're ever lost in the swamp, that stuff's edible.
Do you know that for a fact?
You just watch me for a while.
We'll see how he does.
The deer didn't leave much for me. They kind of picked it all off. Usually it hangs down a little bit. But, I should probably save some for the deer, but
What does it taste like? Like moss? Or something better? Or worse?
trying to figure out what to compare it to.
Does it taste like cheese dogs on a PB&J sandwich?
It's not that good. Here, you want to try some?
Sure, I'll try a little.
It has a strange taste. It's not actually bad.
It's a little spongy.
I watched that show Alive, and a guy actually made a stew out of that, where it was just that. And he was acting like it was really disgusting to eat. I don't think it's bad.
It doesn't taste like much.
Right. Probably have to eat everything on that tree to fill up, though.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what these deer are eating. I mean, look at all these branches knocked down from going in there and eating.
We'll have
Eating
to
a lot of that, and they're eating the cedar. And I don't want to eat the cedar. That stuff's nasty.
try some Michigan deer poop at some point.
Yeah, see if it tastes like moss or if it tastes like
Yeah.
cedar.
Or corn.
Yeah. Or beet piles. Might taste
Or
like
beet piles.
You know, I think part of the daylight movement thing is, you look at what they got to eat here, right? They come in here and they get a couple of nibbles here and there. I mean, we had a hard time at that last spot in that mossy tree finding enough for us to eat.
Right.
So for a deer, I mean, he gets in there, eats a little bit. He's got to keep moving and finding food. It isn't like back home where there's crop fields and there's, all kinds of food. They got to earn their food here. And these are healthy-looking deer. I mean, they don't look unhealthy.
That's what I was.
But to get to those sizes, like those 150-pound does we're seeing,
They're big does.
they got to be eaten all day long.
Yep.
And that's probably where we're seeing that daylight movement.
Yep.
Wouldn't you say?
Yes, that's exactly the point I was just gonna make. These does are bigger than some of the bucks up here,
Right.
so they have to be eating to get to that shape.
Right. I mean, some of these does look like they're 6 or 7 years old. They
Mm-hmm.
look like horses with little
Yeah.
necks.
Yep.
So now all these trails are coming together. This is looking a lot better.
This spot is really similar to the first spot that we looked at, where we had a little funnel along the lakeside, and kind of pinches off the deer into a tighter little spot. So
There's a lot of sign right here. I mean, it's not as much as what was at the other spot, but there is a lot of big tracks.
I think it should pick up yet. I think because with the logging this way and the houses that way, they're either going that way or they're coming this way. So they're either working their way around the lake up this way, or from that way.
Which way
And
is
I
that
think
south
there's
wind
gotta be
blowing?
that would be this way.
Yeah, this wouldn't be bad to get in the tree right here. You got some open. It'd just be a matter of waiting for the shot. I don't think I'd get super high because you want to be able to get a shot through this stuff.
Right.
Either that or this is actually a spot where you could get on the ground. Like get into a spot like this, like right between these trees, wear some white camo, and just shoot right through here. Or just get real low, because they're not going to look up.
Right.
You know, and get into a little patch of trees here, we got a little cover, and you can shoot through little holes here. Ground, it's hard to get a bow drawn and stuff, but there's a lot of activity here, a lot of beds, a lot of...
I think there's a lot of deer between where we are now and where we were earlier that could all be working their way up this way.
Right, even if we're spooking a few right now, there's deer that are going to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't bad looking. I mean, I don't know if we dare get too much further, because this is a pretty good concentration.
Right. I think this is kind of like a no doubter. You should see a deer in here.
I would think so. I think we could, like, set up really close to right here, and I'd be okay with this spot. Then you could take this spot with the heavy concentration over there that you picked out, and I would think between the two of us we kill something.
think
Okay,
we
but I
should
don't
head
think we
over
should go any
there.
further than this. This might be where we would need to be.
Right.
We're standing in kind of the concentration of trail, so this is probably where we need to set up.
Here, just to give you guys an idea.
Just film some of these trails. Probably hard to see on the camera because they'll blend in the distance, but everything,
Right.
like what you see right here, everything as far as we can see. So look at these trails behind me here, right here. Everything as far as we can see right here looks like that. It's all kind of coming from this way, like this, in my opinion. So with the wind blowing that way, a guy sitting up right here, that's why I don't want to go any further. Could cover all this, and I imagine the deer's going to come through. I imagine we get some sightings, we see something.
Yep, I would agree.
And this is a little further off the road, away from the damn log trucks and stuff, and
Yep.
activity. And
Rolling.
so we're just above the spot that we picked to hunt, which is down there in the thick. But up on this ridge here, you can see how this buck came in here. It's a one buck track. It's a small buck, probably a year and a half, 2.5. Might even be a spike or a fork, who knows. But his track comes in here. There's some beds over there, a bed here, and it looks like he bedded here the last few days in a row. It's interesting, some of the beds are in snow, just, you know, bedded in the snow. But this one, you can see how he kicked all the snow free so he could bed where there's no snow. Maybe he intended to bed a little longer. And he bedded here for a while, and probably when the sun came over or whatever, he moved. And he just moved a few feet, and then you can see where he melted one out. But see how he didn't want to be in the snow?
Yeah, that's very interesting to move, you know, and he's facing the same way on
Right,
both
well,
of these
that's-
beds, so it's same wind,
The sun is what changed it, I think.
right? And that's just very interesting.
So come up here and look at this. You can see the shape of his body here. You know, in comparison to the last deer we looked at, look at how small that bed is.
Yeah, yep,
It does look like it's a buck, a lone buck,
right.
in my opinion. But it's, this one, he didn't kick the leaves out, but he laid here so long he melted out the snow. See that?
Yep.
But his tracks is one set of tracks. He went to that bed, kicked all the snow out, laid there briefly. When the sun got in his eyes or whatever it was, he moved into the shaded area. And then, like the 2 days before, he was bedding up here. And this stuff he didn't kick out. Here and here. Same size bed, same tracks.
Yep.
That one he bedded in long enough to melt it out a little bit. This one he doesn't look like he was in it very long. You think he'd be down in the swamp with the rest of them, but these bucks have a tendency to like these little high points where they can see things for a ways, you know. And,
Yeah, it really doesn't take much elevation at all,
right.
you know.
I think that could be a good spot. This spot we were looking at was only what, 150, 200 yards away. So
Right, right.
everything comes and goes from there. Well, I snuck back and got in here. I originally said I was going to set up in that tree, but getting over here, I like this tree a lot better. I have a little window over there and over here, and I think those deer are going to come like this. I'm up 4 sticks, and I got the stand right there. I got a window through there and a window through here. And I can shoot over there a little bit. I think the deer are going to come from that way. My wind is going like this. So it all looks good. We just have to see what happens. I'm in a nice remote place now, back in these cedars. The only worry is that maybe I'm pushing them out of their bedding. I'm hoping they're bedded further back. So looking at this, I got tracks that wandering over there, tracks that wandering over here, a decent trail that comes through right here, a decent trail coming in over here. But I did find, I started hitting beds when I got to this point. No fresh ones, but that's not to say there's not deer bedded around me. The wind is still blowing that way, but there's a thermal going this way. And when it gets calm, the thermal takes over. When there's a little breeze, the wind takes over. It's pretty calm in general. But sometimes it mixes and ends up throwing some that way or that way. It's not as steady as it was when I got here. The milkweed ain't going far though. It's kind of settling, I think, pooling around in here. So, I don't know, if something comes in, I need to get an arrow in it as soon as I have a shot if I want to shoot it. Got me another one. Well, that was cool. She did a circle around me. I noticed her come out right there from those pines and she went that way, and it looked like she was going to keep going. And then she circled over here and then over here. And then I thought I might get a long shot over here, but she turned and she came right into point blank. And I got her at about a 18-yard shot, and she didn't go 20 yards. She's laying right there. So now all we need is a big buck to come walking in, right? Another doe came from the other way and walked up on the dead one. And kind of freaked out and kept walking in circles around it over there. Now it finally left.
I just got set up in a dense little cedar swamp. Dan and I took a cruise past this property a little earlier today, and I had noticed on the map between the road and the lake, it looked like a nice little pinch that deer would use to travel back and forth between. That road is only, probably can't make it out on camera, but that road is only 75 yards behind me. And there's a lake back this way that's another 75 yards. So I definitely can't shoot across this whole thing. So it made it kind of difficult as far as where to set up. There are deer trails through here like you wouldn't believe. The deer are here. I think they're scattered all over the place. They're kind of bedding all over the place in here. They have a nice treetop canopy for cover from the sun. And it's in a low area, so they're out of wind. And there's just good cover in here. I would have to think in summertime this is just a jungle in here. But as you can see below, I don't know how much you can make out, but there are just heavy beet trails all over the place. To my left, straight in front of me, there's another trail a little ways back that runs straight through. I have trails all the way around me. If you take a look, you can notice all these needles falling off of the cedars. And there was a heavy windstorm that just came through here a couple days ago. And that's what the deer are feeding on. They're feeding on all those cedar needles that have fallen from the trees from the windstorm. And the stuff is just scattered everywhere. There's a very high density of deer in here, and I can't imagine that there isn't anything with horns in here. Whether it gets to me before shooting light is up or not, I guess that's the real question. But I think if a doe comes through tonight, I'll take it. See what happens.
That memory card ran out just before I fired my arrow on the doe. And,
So you didn't get the shot on
so I
film?
didn't get the shot. I did not get the shot. Which is kind of a bummer, but it's, I definitely learned from that. That won't be happening again. So.
Yeah, it's easier to change a card than it is to go back and delete stuff when there's deer
I'm not
walking
a technology guy, so I let it happen this time, but it won't happen again. But so that was kind of a bummer because the way everything played out, it's just everything worked out perfect. I was set up in the right tree. Everything worked out just awesome. I think I maybe could have taken 3 doe tonight.
Here's my arrow. Now let's look at how far she went. She went right through here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 paces. She might be bigger than yours. Look at the size of that thing.
I wish we could weigh these two to really know.
Holy crap. Like I said, I was worried it was a buck. I had to really look at the head close.
Yep, mine too.
And she's probably got no fawns at all because she was alone.
Yeah.
She's probably too old.
I had 3 of them come in and they're all about that size. The last one was a little smaller, but man, another big doe.
Yeah, that's going to be fun to deal with. Wow. That is huge.
There's some meat on there, huh?
Yeah.
Good 40 pounds of meat.
Cool.
Well,
boy, do I got a treat for you today. I'm going to teach you how to make my recipe, my secret recipe, summer sausage sandwich. You see, nobody else really knows how to make a true summer sausage sandwich like I do. I've got a venison summer sausage. I got some spiral string cheese, which is half cheddar, half mozzarella, 2 sticks. I got some Famous Dave's pickle spears. And I've got honey wheat bread, 2 slices. So let me show you how this works. So, I learned this a long time ago. You want to take the skin off the summer sausage. It's nasty if you eat it with it. So you peel the skin off. And we can eat that later. Then it's important to get the right length of summer sausage. So how you do that is you measure it with a piece of bread. And you cut the end off. And you cut the end off. So you can save these for snacks for later. And you cut the summer sausage right down the middle. Try to stay right on center. Ta-da! And you put 1 slice on each side of the bread. See that? There you go. So now you need a Dave's pickle slice. Find a nice big one. Oh, here's a nice big one. Right? Lay that right in the middle. Right there. Oh yeah, that looks good. And you need some cheese. It's got to have some cheese, right? What would be a summer sausage sandwich without cheese and a pickle? Right? Oh, there you go. 1 on each side of there. And then you put the top piece of bread on the top. Because I'm not an animal. Voila! Summer sausage sandwich, Dan style. Good.